From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. 2 pre-clearance projects to allow more travelers to be screened before crossing the Canada-U.S. border are set to go ahead this year.
U.S. Ambassador to Canada Pete Hoekstra had cast doubt on the future of pre-clearance arrangements. He suggested at an Alberta conference last September that Washington might have to rethink pre-clearance because of the decline in Canadian travel to the United States. But Canada and the U.S. both say pre-clearance facilities are going ahead at Toronto's Billy Bishop Airport and at Cannon Corners, New York, about 80 kilometers south of Montreal. Jason White, The Canadian Press.
When it comes time for your kid to get their first smartphone, experts say could also be a good opportunity to teach them about money. Margot Denolme, founder of the advocacy group Raising Awareness About Digital Dangers, says parents should disable in-app purchases and turn on parental approval for every purchase before handing their kids a smartphone.
That's what I'm finding when I speak to parents is that, oh, well, it's privacy. No, it's your phone. You've purchased the phone, and it's okay to put these provisions in place.
Experts say it's important to sit kids down and go over various costs associated with phone ownership and lay out who's responsible for them. Overseas now, where thousands of Iranians are still flooding the streets despite deadly pushback from the ruling theocracy, activists say the government has killed at least 116 people and taken 2,600 captive. U.S. President Donald Trump has warned of military action if Iran starts killing its own people. Iran responded today, vowing retaliation against any American moves. Citing anonymous U.S. officials, the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal are both reporting Trump has been given military options for a strike, but a final decision has not yet been made. Ahead of the weekend, foreign ministers from around the globe, including Canada's Anita Anand, issued a joint statement condemning the violence against the Iranian people. Supporters here at home have also taken to the streets in Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal to show solidarity. They say they're adding their voices to the call, demanding the fall of the Islamic regime and the return of Reza Pahlavi, the son of the former Shah of Iran, who has been in exile in the U.S. for 47 years. And finally, there is no shortage of violent content online, but what happens to a developing mind that consumes too much violent material?
A Harvard Youth poll finds 28% of young Americans say political violence is acceptable when the government violates individual rights.
Online, Gen Z can be exposed to commentary that normalizes violence.
University of Michigan professor Raoul Hussman says portraying violence as justified can increase its long-term impact on aggression. Medical writer for ABC News Dr. Jennifer Meow has reviewed studies that show repeated exposure to violence may impact brain development.
Prolonged exposure to such types of media portrayals can certainly result in increased acceptance of this type of behavior and violence across the board.
Caitlin Schiffer, ABC News.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Adrian Kempe scored the lone goal in the shootout as the visiting Los Angeles Kings defeated the Edmonton Oilers 4-3. Despite the loss, Oilers captain Connor McDavid was able to extend his point streak to 18 games with a goal. Elsewhere, William Nylander returned from a 6-game absence due to injury with 1 goal and 2 assists as the Toronto Maple Leafs cruised past the Vancouver Canucks 5-0. The Detroit Red Wings took over first place in the Atlantic Division from the Canadiens, blanking their original 6 rival 4-0 at the Bell Centre in Montreal. The Calgary Flames earned their first win in January and halted a 4-game losing skid with a 2-1 victory over the hosting Pittsburgh Penguins. And the Florida Panthers scratched their way to a 3-2 win over the struggling Ottawa Senators. And in the NFL playoff wildcard game, Chicago beat Green Bay by a final score of 31-27, while the LA Rams beat the Carolina Panthers 34-31. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.